it! Get a grip! This stupid video I just showed you! I almost stroked out and died over it. You're watching a different show! It's donkey! You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? 312-988-15.
Hello?
You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. We made it. Everybody's alive. I don't think anybody got arrested. I think it was a good weekend, you guys. It was a long grind, but we made it. I think everybody's in good shape. I do. I think everybody made it home safely. A lot of people traveled. What a wild weekend for the Always Irish crew. Phil, the keg of Fireball your wife brought is no more. It was gone. Somebody said there's 115 shots in that thing. It's all gone. You put that thing on the table and it goes fast. All right. Welcome in. Welcome back, folks. Here's the deal. I'm out of my routine. It's a little uncomfortable for me just because I'm used to the routine I have. I'm used to the Saturday night right after the game, giving you guys the call in and learning where we're all at as a group and whatever, everything. And I wasn't able to do that. So we got to catch up. Okay. And so what I want to do is I need to get a feel for you guys of where you think this team is at after these last two games that weren't particularly close. But everybody I talked to after this game, they're not sold that like Notre Dame's trustworthy or that they can rely on what they're going to get for the next game or whatever. I want to know where you think this is all at because I just feel a little off. You're riding on two games now that weren't particularly close. And I still don't know what my confidence is or will be going into Louisville. I still don't know what that offense, what I could trust. And I want to know what you guys think. And there's some interesting things about being at the game I want to go over too that I just wasn't expecting. And so I want to go over it and see what you guys think. Let me see. We're going to do our super chats. We have our a bank of callers here. I anticipate a busier call day because we weren't able to do it Saturday, obviously. So Jay Carr says, I think this team ends up 9-3 after seeing 4 games. That's unacceptable. Not good enough. Unacceptable. Not good enough. Like, I'm sorry. I understand why you're saying it. Unacceptable. Not good enough. Like, and we're going to get to this Louisville thing. I need a day to work out this one and see where you guys are all at before I get to there. So I just... There's something that just isn't, you guys, something isn't fully clicking for me with this team or where it's at. There's some hitch in the operation that's got me feeling like I can't trust things or I can't put my thumb on it, but there's just something that doesn't feel like it's flowing or clicking or like it's like there's something stuck in the cylinder. There's something that's not letting me trust what it seems to be like decent right now with us. And I don't know if that's NIU scar tissue. And now I'm just like, I'm the glass half empty or whatever. I don't know. But it's a weird feeling. I'm like out in, I just feel like I'm kind of bobbing around out in the water here looking for a buoy. And I'm not sure what I'm going to get. So let's get into this, and then I want to go to the callers and let you guys have your day since it's my fault. I missed the call-in show. So as always, thanks for being here, everybody. You can find the program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it very much. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps Johnny out as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish, or at Always Irishing. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you want it, you can get it if you don't want to see my face. I think everybody's seen enough of it. That was at the tailgate in the house Friday. Everybody's seen enough. I think everybody's seen enough of Johnny Boy's face for a while. God bless you people. Call in lines 312-988-15. Dial it up. Tell Uncle Johnny all you've heard and seen. Don't forget, Notre Dame Fighting Irish brought to you by Sports Illustrated. We got articles. I got to give them credit. I was doing the tailgate thing out of the mix. They picked up the slack. Writing a bunch of articles, picking up for me while I was doing all the stuff I had to do in the promo for all that. And getting our tailgate going. So I really do appreciate it. Appreciate those guys picking up the slack while I was out of the mix. How about patreon.com/alwaysirish? Here's the deal, man. It was like 4 hours of film breakdown late last night till like 1:30 in the morning. And I'm sitting here watching Goolsby and Jared Clark breaking down like every offensive snap from the game. And Mike did the defensive stuff before that. It was literally like 4 hours of tape breaking down content till 1:32 in the morning yesterday. It's already posted on Patreon. People love the film. You're going to get your film. So you got those guys breaking down everything, the good, the bad, whatever it was. We got it going over there, breaking it down. I mean, that's a quick turnaround, getting that all 22 and then queuing it up and breaking it all down. So thanks, everybody, for all of that. Everybody for all of it. Let's do a couple super chats. Callers, hang in there. I see you. And we're going to go to you. You got to give me a minute here. I'm a little behind. Let's check. $20 holler from Eric, my lawyer in Michigan. The problem is this. Leonard is rusty throwing the ball. The first 4 games was Leonard's spring ball. I have been thinking about that. Is there leeway you want to give him or whatever because he missed spring and was injured and had to fight back from all that and missed that time, and you can't expect them to have rhythm? And then you got the offensive line issues where half of them are their legs are falling off, and then how can you blame anybody for that? That whole thing. Even if it's true, I'm just not here for it. Even if what you're saying is perfectly true, it's just no one wants to hear it or live that. Even if what you're saying is totally accurate. It's so frustrating. Nikki Dean, man, the tailgate and Friday night was awesome. Always love and always Irish party. I appreciate you guys being there, Nick. Really appreciate you. So here's the main question of the day. I need to know what you guys think of where Notre Dame is at. 2 not close games. Do you feel like Notre Dame's about to start rolling, or do you still have major anxiety and concerns, especially offensively, about what's going to happen against Louisville? Because I don't trust our offense against Louisville at all, but I'm not ready to get there yet. I want to do a day on this game, and then we'll move into that. Domer guy, I see Riley throw some good balls, throws me off, man. I have no idea what kind of offense they're trying to build here. It's so strange. Man, it's just weird. Here, this is really interesting too. Callers, hang in there. I got to get caught up on my chats. Mark says, Riley Leonard says he didn't hear the boos. Is that true, John? They were loud and they were early. I was surprised. They were loud and they were early. The first couple easy passes he missed, people were booing and it was loud. I was a little surprised. It did not take long. And you know what else I was surprised about? I think it was the boos. The other thing I was surprised about was that the crowd was pretty good, really. People were chanting on the way in. Here come the Irish. People were excited. I feel like people must have been drinking. They were all worked up in the sun and the heat. It was real hot out, whatever. That crowd had a lot of energy when we were going in the stadium, getting your ticket scanned. People were chanting, here come the Irish. They were all excited. And then the game started. And the way we played killed the vibe. And then you're sitting there in the heat and everybody wishes they had more beer. Like, I'm sorry, you guys, that's what happened. Everybody was fired up. And then once we got in there, the game started. It killed everybody's buzz. And you're sitting there in the heat watching us losing early to Miami, Ohio. And you're going, what's going on here? I'd rather be in the parking lot again. It's wild. But the boos were early and they were loud. I don't know how anybody could not hear them. Early and loud. Freeman was not happy about the boos question in the postgame. I'm just telling you. Early and loud, okay? People have no patience for those easy passes being missed when you're losing to Miami, Ohio at home. Always good to have a Rudiger in the chat and all weekend with the Always Irish crew. Her and her kids, and Friday night, fantastic. Saturday night, being there. It's always good to have a Rudiger. So, Angela, thanks for being a part of everything and appreciate it. Derek Brady, Marcus Freeman's either handcuffed by the administration or he has a big problem if he's solely running the team like he is. He was supposed to get us over the hump, and we've regressed. See, that's the glass half empty side of things. Like there's an argument all over this. And so that, man, $2 outlet from Mark. Time to accept who we are. Run the L out of Riley Leonard. Is that what it's going to be? More of like an option, just a straight up like option look run type thing? I don't know, man. Mark with glasses. Good to see you again, Mark. And thanks for the goods, man. I'll have to work them in and see which one fits best. The trips to the tailgate are worth it. Just see that dog named Gator. He's now a regular and the perfect always Irish therapy dog. I got to have a golden retriever there to calm everybody's nerves at the tailgate. So it was good to have Gator in the house. $5 outlet from the 80s guy. By the way, speaking about people in the house, the tailgate, we had people from 20 different states and 3 different countries there. We had a board saying, sign your name and where you're from because we want to represent. 20 different states, 3 different countries. This thing is growing and it's getting big. It's growing and it's getting big. It's a beautiful thing, but I'm proud of that. 20 different states, 3 different countries. We got people spread out all over, all connected by their love for Notre Dame football. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing, even when we're frustrated or miserable. $5 outlet from the 80s guy. John, do people really believe if we make the playoff and have to play good teams that we can win with Riley Leonard? I don't know if people think that. I am not sold on that. The way the passing game is right now, I am not sold on that at all. Willie B. Hardigan. It was good meeting you and Mrs. Willie B. Hardigan, which is what she had on her name tag, by the way. Mrs. Hardigan. On the first defensive third down, I was tapped on the shoulder and told to sit down. I didn't. You can't make this up. The tailgate was great, though. Hey, you didn't have to sit down at the tailgate. I can guarantee you that. Jeremy, $20 holler. Thanks for hosting the tailgate, John. It was great seeing you. How do you think the boos and chants for Steve Angeli from the student section are affected the team chemistry? I don't know. And I was on the other side, so I couldn't hear if anything was coming from there. Big Dwayne, $10 holler. Great tailgate. Here's for the beers and the koozie. No problem, man. Thanks for coming by. Callers, hang in there. I'm caught up with the chats, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. Let me see how many we got. We got a decent amount. So let me do my little thing here, and then we'll go to the calls. We'll see what you guys think. So the first thing is I really want to thank everybody who came for either event. Friday night at the little housewarming party we had when we got into town. And then Saturday, everybody helping set everything up. Everybody kind of doing their part to make this tailgate work. My family, Pat, Craig, Adam and Tiffany Dowling, Tom and Carissa, Mikey Poles and Mrs. Future Mikey Poles. Everybody, Pistol Pete, everybody involved that did something nice for this or helped pitch in. My family, especially, just there's so much work to put together one of these tailgates and to make it so that it kind of frees me up to wheel and deal and meet people and talk to people when they come up and all that. And everybody work their butt off to make this go smoothly. And it was a beautiful thing, man. We have a lot of people there. This thing is growing. It's a beautiful thing. And here's what we're going to do. I have footage and pictures and all that with Dr. John and everything we did that when Pat and everything fun was going. I got to go through all those. People are emailing me them and I'll put together a little montage to show you guys the tailgate and the party. It was pretty fun. Pretty fun situation, man. It was really good. So thanks to everybody involved, everybody that came. So here's where I'm at real quick, you guys. I'm just going to throw this out there, and then we'll see where you're at. The Purdue game, not very close. They're not very good, but you took care of business. This game started out rough early, and you made a lot of mistakes, special teams mistakes. Just you can't complete easy, short passes. There wasn't a lot of running lanes early either. Really rough. Really rough start at home. Nobody was in the mood for it. And then you ended up turning it back on. You got more out of the passing game. I do think Riley Leonard did better as the game went on and in the second half looked way better and all that. Whatever, that's fine. And you ended up winning by multiple scores, and it wasn't all stressful, and you didn't have to sit there I get it. It was an improvement over Northern Illinois. Why then do I feel so uncomfortable, though, that I just don't think I could trust everything I'm seeing? That's where I'm at, you guys. Even in the last 2 weeks that have been not close games, we ended up winning, but I am not sure I trust what I'm seeing, and I don't know why. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know why. You could disagree. Some people feel momentum building now. Notre Dame's getting over the hump. Couple games that aren't that close, whatever. I just don't feel like this team is playing consistent high-level football I can rely on week to week. Something just feels a little off. The calibration doesn't fully... The calibration just isn't clicking. Like there's some hitch in the engine. There's something... It's like having this beautiful car and this engine, but you turn it on and you can hear that something's rattling or something's loose. There's something is bugging me where I just can't trust it and it feels a little off. Adam, it's good to see you here. Adam and Tiffany Dowling, thank you guys a lot. They do a ton of work for these tailgates. Adam cooks, figures out the best place to park, and when we need to get in there to angle ourselves to have a big open area, like Adam and Tiffany Dowling are the real deal. Help me out with this a lot. Love you guys. Thank you. But it's that lack of consistency, even in these blowouts or whatever, that I just can't. There's something that's making me not trust, even in these blowouts. And I don't like it. And I just feel like that I wanted this team to be better than this more regularly than this. Is that fair, you guys? I wanted this team to be better than this more regularly than they are. Maybe that's it. And listen, that defense is averaging, allowing under 10 points a game now. Our defense is literally giving up less than 10 points a game now. I think a lot of this is offensively. People are so annoyed and frustrated. People are so annoyed and frustrated. Because you said you were not going to trust Notre Dame after the NIU loss. So what's the confusion for? We lost to Marshall. It's a waste of time to talk about. I don't think it's a waste of time to talk about because it probably ruined your year. It's not a waste of time. It is a huge skeleton in the closet with the big Grim Reaper thing creeping up behind you. It's definitely worth talking about because it might have ruined your year. It's worth talking about. You let it. You could go 11-1. It couldn't be that one. You could go 11-1. Couldn't be that one. You put yourself in a bad spot. You don't have a quarter and a half to wake yourself up against Louisville. You do that, you're going to lose that game and be out of playoff contention before the calendar even turns to October. You want to talk about the nightmare of all Notre Dame nightmares, this year being out of playoff contention before the calendar even gets to October? Oh my gosh, you don't even want to. It can't be. It can't be. And it's like, oh, John, I don't know about 10-2 Notre Dame could get in the playoff or whatever. Number one, sometimes, yes, not with a loss to Northern Illinois. I don't think so. Sometimes, yes, but with a loss to Northern Illinois, I'm not so sure of it. And number dos, even if you do make it with two, that you're going somewhere horrible to play and you have a 4-game nightmare stretch because you're not getting the bye and lining it up the right way. So whatever, man. But there's a lot of pressure on Notre Dame to beat Louisville. You cannot be done before the calendar turns to October in year 3. That is what is on my mind 24/7 now. You cannot do it. So you better wake up. Special teams, I don't know what you're doing. You better wake up. In this offense, you better do something before it's almost halftime this week. I'm just telling you. That's where Johnny's at. You don't have to be there with me. I don't care. I've seen it too many times, and I don't trust what I see. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Louisville isn't an offensive juggernaut. Well, neither are we, Michael. Neither are we. So there you go. It's rough. It's rough. Anyway, so let's go to the calls. Thanks, everybody, again, that showed up for the whole tailgate thing. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Everything's growing, and it's just good to see. And it's good to have people feel comfortable and welcomed in our little circle. Really, really warms my heart. Never thought it would turn into this when I first started. I always used to walk through there being like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had one of those tailgate setups with a bunch of people we trust and like and have our own area and it's all awesome or whatever. And now we do. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. It isn't worth talking about this point. None of this means anything until we see how the rest of the year shakes out. Well, I mean, Dave, that's kind of what we're talking about. The rest of the year. And that's what I'm talking about. But what's happened so far shapes what's going to happen the rest of the year. I don't understand today. Some people are saying I got to just look at the future and the past doesn't matter. Since when does the past not matter at Notre Dame, good or bad? When did that kick in? This morning? Or does Johnny sense there's some people that don't want to have to address some uncomfortable things? Don't want to have to address some shaky stuff that they would rather look the other way and look at that final score than the way it looks and feels sometimes. There's a little bit of that going on here where you want to look at that final score, not how it looks or feels in the damn moment. In the moment. Always Irish Senior. Busted his butt all weekend, man, setting up for this, helping him do everything, man. So Always Irish's parents, you guys helped a lot. Every week is a playoff game indeed, Adam. There's no way around that. 615, you're on the line. Let's get to these calls. What's going on, 615?
John, how are you, man?
I'm doing very, very well. I'm trying to get back in my routine here. Got back from South Bend middle of the day yesterday, and we're ready to go. I'm back in the mix here, and I feel like I missed all you guys. So I want to know what you think of the game.
Well, man, first off, we enjoyed the tailgate. This is Scott from Nashville. Me and my sons were there. It was a pleasure to meet you guys. Just wish we had a little more time to hang out. It was a great event. I know we stopped by there twice. I'm the guy that gave you the duffel bag. And, man, there was that second time we went there was a heck of a crowd. It was fantastic.
Man, I appreciate that vintage duffel bag. I got it right now. Brought it into the studio, the vintage duffel bag. And there was a little something in the duffel bag too, by the way. Little something there. You're trying to get me in trouble. Little something special for Johnny Boy in the bottom of that duffel bag. I appreciate you, man.
I tell you, I was worried you might be into that something, but at halftime, the way the first half went.
I know, man. It was stressing me out. People were worried I was going to flip over the back of that stadium like I've been threatening. So what do you make of it, man? Number one is, I got to say this, and you'll be able to relate since you were there. I thought the crowd was genuinely into it and ready to have a good day. I don't know if everybody drank a lot, but I thought early I was a little surprised in that heat and with what we did at home before. The crowd was pretty good, I thought, until the team started playing bad, and then it all changed. And then when they played good, then the crowd kind of came back around. But I thought the crowd was good. I wanted to be into it, but you got to do something. Do something.
The crowd was electric going into the game. I mean, it was awesome.
I thought it was way better than what I thought it would be. That crowd was more live than I wanted it to be, and the team just totally took the air out of that balloon in 2 minutes.
Yes, we had a great group of people that was all around us, and I think there was like 4 different states all around us of folks, and everyone was excited, and like you said, the air went out of the bubble. I think that the fan base is just so starved for success, and I mean, I was shocked to be in Notre Dame Stadium, and I must admit, I was one of them that was booing after Riley overthrew people, underthrew people.
Now, okay, let me ask you this, man. Let me ask you this. I've been to a lot of Notre Dame games. I don't remember the boos being like that. Like, I remember the boos only being in like extreme circumstances. Otherwise, the Notre Dame crowd moans and groans at their own, but they don't really loudly. But that's not usually something I'm used to there. Do you think it's because, like, now that there's money involved, or people know Riley Leonard got a big old bag of money, that's changed the calculus to where people feel more comfortable to boo like early if they're not getting the product they feel like they paid for? Like, I just feel like a big shift where there's no patience. The first couple balls he missed that he should have completed, people were yelling, boo, and jelly time. All around me, people were yelling it.
Yeah, it's just a tough situation because the people that I was around, they felt like maybe the vetting wasn't done as well. Maybe it was more of an emotional decision with Riley Leonard. I think a lot of people in our section felt that they probably should have not brought Riley in and went with the development of our own 3 guys.
That's a very, very popular
room.
It's a very popular opinion. And the other thing is it's a compounding effect because people are frustrated. You brought Hartman in to raise the ceiling and do the same thing, and you didn't really get it last year. So now I do feel like that's a part of this too, is it's last year's project added into this one and people are getting frustrated. I think they're connected.
Oh, definitely. And, it ties in with, Marcus is a great guy, but he's learning on the job. And I think patience is starting to wear thin. And I hate to say it, but was that a good football decision, or was it an emotional decision? Because I look back on my life, and when I've made emotional decisions, they weren't necessarily the best decisions.
Yeah.
And I hope things work out here with Marcus. I do. I mean, I love Notre Dame. I know you love Notre Dame. But man, we want to win a championship. I ran into a gentleman, and it was a miracle. My mother used to work at Notre Dame in the 50s, and I ran into a guy at the game that knew my mother, and I don't live up there.
Wow.
It just blew my mind. And he was in his mid to late 80s, Notre Dame graduate. And I said, man, I wish I could have experienced Notre Dame winning a national championship again in my mother's life with her.
Yeah.
And I told this gentleman, I said, I hope you get to experience Notre Dame winning another national championship in the rest of your life. And I hope I get to experience that with my son. You sit there and look at how long it's been. I mean, really, that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got everything to do it. I mean, it's such a special place. And for us to be struggling the way we are, it's unacceptable. And you want to hear things turn south, you wait to see if this Louisville game and how that turns out.
It's a big one. I'm telling you, it's a big one, and it's going to get real rough real fast if you don't find a way to win it. But I cannot trust Notre Dame's offense in its current state. The defense is doing enough. I just can't. It's really a shame because the defense should be getting more credit for giving up less than 10 points a game on average. But that offense is so shaky, and you could lose any game because of it. Nobody knows what they're going to get. Anything else about this game before we get? I don't want to get into Louisville yet. I want to just start that Wednesday. I want to make it about this game. Anything else about this one?
Yeah, the thing that's very concerning to me is our offense cannot protect our defense. So
yeah,
when we get into playing better teams like Louisville, even Georgia Tech, USC, we need our offense to move the ball, put up points. We can't do this 3 and out and punt, interception. And then where the defense is out there time and time again, that starts wearing on them. Yep. And, it's just, our defense is great if they're protected, if they have time to rest.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot of concerns across the board.
Yeah, there's just a little, I feel that NIU, the lack of trust now is still there and beating up on Purdue. And then this team didn't make it go away, especially with a slow start at home again. Listen, man, I really appreciate you joining the party. I appreciate the gift. I have it here in the studio and I appreciate it very much, man. It was great meeting you. Thank you.
You too. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, it gave me a vintage, walks up to the tailgate with a vintage Notre Dame duffel bag from like the 80s or 90s. And a little something in there for John to drink on too. It was nice. It was nice. A $5 holler from Tom. Good to see you as well. $5 holler. Great to see you, my friend. Super sticker. Thank you very much. Jeff says the offense can't win with the fans right now. Yeah, you could. If you started games playing real world football, you could win with the fans. I don't know what that means, Jeff. Phones, I'm coming back. Bruce, I got you. I'm coming back to the calls. All you guys are getting on. Jeff, the offense can't win with the fans right now. Yes, it can. When the game starts, play good offensive football. That's how you can win it with the fans. Not completely looked overmatched and out of sync against Miami, Ohio, and Northern Illinois at home. It's really not that hard. Play good offense when the game starts. And I don't understand. What do you mean the offense can't win with the fans? Play good offense the whole game. When you're playing teams that aren't good, that don't have the talent you have, beat them early and often. How is that hard? How is that hard? This fan base was liquored up and ready to cheer on their team, and then the offense does nothing, and the special teams looks incompetent. And there's nothing to cheer at that point. The offense could win with the fans by playing good offense regularly. Not you can't complete a pass and there's no running lanes for a quarter and a half against a bad team, and then you decide to do stuff. It's unacceptable, bro. Hats off to longer punts, though. You did get some longer punts with some more air time, and I appreciate it. And it was very obvious to see in the stadium. You're not limited to the camera view. That was very good to see. But you had the muff punt fail. You had the fumble snap on the field goal try would fail. You had the beautiful end around thing that I'm mad you're showing on film. That's the other thing. The end around to Love on the kick or whatever. Cool play, bro. I have two questions. Number one is, why am I putting that on film against Miami, Ohio? I don't like that. And number two is, you got a penalty on it, wiped it out anyways. So special teams, that's a negative. I can't. That offense. And the other problem is, you guys, I don't know how much of this is the offensive line. That's a little bit of a problem too. Like Riley Leonard obviously has a problem with some of these passes that are wide open. And again, when you're not watching on TV and you're in the top row where I go, man, you could see that whole field and just how wide open some of these guys are. And you just couldn't throw it early. It got better later, and he hit that long ball to Collins. And he was running wild and whatever. It just needs to be more consistent. It needs to be more consistent. I don't know, man. I don't know. Bruce, you're on the air, my friend. Maybe. There you go. What's up, Bruce? Bruce, the last couple times you've called, your phone has not worked, and it is not my fault, Bruce. My system is working. This is your phone. The last two times you've called, you have not been able to get through, and it is not my system. You got to figure it out. Mark with glasses, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? So it feels like one of those videos of somebody filming out of the window of the plane, and you see the engines on fire and the wings loose, and there's duct tape flapping all over the place, and the plane lands on flat tires, and then the passengers all get out, and they're happy they got where they're going, and they're wondering why some of us are mad about the situation, and they're saying, shut up, we beat Purdue 66-7 and Miami by 25. And those same people are okay getting back onto that same plan. Never mind making repairs or fixing what needs improvement. They're fine until it falls apart. They just want to be comfortable with their leg room. Never mind the disaster that's in front of us. They're in their comfy chair. They don't see what's up ahead.
Mark, are we just being like glass half empty? But are we being glass half empty? Or, Mark, how much of this is First off, really good to see you, by the way. And the wife as well. Absolutely lovely, deals with our stuff. It was great to see you again, buddy. Really was. I gotta say though, like, is the Northern Illinois thing still like that's one that people aren't gonna get over. And they shouldn't get over, and there's no getting over it. Like, if people are gonna hold that one and always have that, in their mind, I totally get it. Like, you can't get over that one, but it just doesn't feel like we're clicking fully like a team that's rolling like a top 10 team would. I don't feel like we're clicking, like we're rolling and everything's smooth. I don't know what else to say. I just don't feel that way. And it makes me really nervous for what's coming next.
Yeah, the NIU is the main reason. But, the years 2024, we're 4 games in, our starting quarterback passed for 1 touchdown. Like, we lost to a MAC team.
Yeah. Who then lost to Buffalo, by the way, Mark? Who then went and lost to Buffalo, by the way? So there goes your whole, they're going to be the Cinderella, and it's okay we lost to them because they're awesome. There goes that.
Yeah, so these last 2 wins don't mean anything. They're going to have to string together, multiple, beyond what they've done.
Well, okay, now, Mark, don't you feel like this almost everything is hinging on this Louisville situation? This is a tricky spot against a good defense you struggled against last year. I realize it's at our house. So was Northern. So I'm not sure why I'm supposed to instantly feel better about it. Northern was in our barn too, and look how that went. But if you could somehow grind out a win defensively or turn them over a few times to help our offense or whatever, if you could get to this bye with that 1 loss and then look at Stanford and Georgia Tech and Navy and then a down Florida State, and then Virginia and Army, that is where you can make some hay in this schedule. But you got to beat Louisville or you're pretty much done.
Yeah, and I'm surprised there's so many fans that they don't see what everyone's upset about. And I think if your team's ever in a state where you lose the next game, it's disaster, question everything. And that's where we are. If we lose to Louisville, I mean, we're right back. And so how can you be satisfied with these last 2 wins? As long as you're 1 loss away from complete meltdown, questioning everything.
Yeah.
You can't be satisfied. So you have to string together.
Man, Mark, that's the danger, dude. That's why the temperature, not only just the physical temperature outside, which was cooking Saturday, that's why I think the temperature's up so high, because you could go 11-1. You just couldn't have it be that one. And the temperature's so high now and the pressure's so high because everyone's on edge knowing you can't lose again, really, because you're not going to make that playoff with 2 losses, one of them to Northern. I don't think Notre Dame's making it. I just don't. And so now that's a pressure cooker that you created on your own. We created this environment, and now you're in a stressful spot every single week.
Yeah, we're completely on the fence of which way we're going to go. But your assessment of the atmosphere inside the stadium was spot on. I think Adams touched on that a couple of times. You need a reason to cheer.
Bro.
And when they went 3 and out 2 of the first 3 possessions, and you're sitting there looking around with our recent history, and then we got a DJ and MC playing TikTok music telling us to get back on track, and we're looking around like,
how about that, Mark? Whoever the DJ, I'm telling you.
Hell, you got 80,000 people sitting in a circle with swamp ass.
Yeah.
And your offense looks like crap. And nobody's in the mood for
that girl's yelling. Music. That girl's yelling the whole time too. I just can't. It was I was not in the mood, but whatever. But dude, people wanted to cheer. People wanted to cheer. It was loud going in there. Here come the Irish coming in, echoing through the old facade when how it echoes now when you go through. Everybody was loud and the team killed the vibe. I don't know what to tell you. The fans were into it. Even after losing to Northern, the fans were into it here until the team started playing, and then I wanted to go tailgate again.
Yeah, the inability for Freeman's teams to maintain momentum and capitalize is, I just don't understand why everything comes so difficult.
It just feels, everything just feels so like unreliable. I don't know. Larry says, good morning, John. All positive for me this week. Go Irish. There you go, man. If you want to say, hey, man, last 2 games ended up not being close. I feel like this is a turning point. If you want to say that, fine. I guess I'll say Riley Leonard had a much better second half than he did a first half in this ball game. If you want to hold on to that as progress and be hopeful you're going to get that this week, it's just, I don't think against Louisville, this offense is going to be able to sputter for a quarter and a half without losing the game. And that's what I'm nervous about, because I don't trust our offense to come and play good football to start any game. I'm sorry. I'm just being as honest as I can. I don't trust them to start out playing real football. And you can't afford that against Louisville.
Yeah, I feel like, Riley Leonard's expectations are dropped so much now where, he throws from the dirt and then he completes, a 10-yard pass. We're like, hey, it's improvement. He's putting this together. And, I'm disappointed so much. It's hard for me to look at, a lot of things individually because there's, a wet blanket over the entire offense.
Yeah.
So, I can't.
It does feel that way. It does feel that way. You so want it to be further along than it is. And again, a part of my frustration is, yes, some of it is Riley Leonard and the frustration that you gave that guy the money and he's not doing the basics sometimes that you need a quarterback to do. That's frustrating. But a part of it is that offensive line and how banged up they are, and they're trying to get all up to speed. And you have these good backs, but you block for them. And it's just a little, dude, it's all frustrating, man. It's just a little frustrating. And I'm telling you, your whole season's on the line against Louisville. If you could get this win by any amount of points and limp into that bye, you have a chance here to run this string out for a while, because I don't think the teams you play right after that are that good. But people are going to say neither was Northern. So I don't know anymore, man. What do I know? I'm just a guy drinking Miller Lite in a parking lot, Mark. What do I know?
Yeah, I was trying to think with a quarter of the season behind us. I was trying to think of we used to get those progress reports sent home. I was trying to think of by position group, who's underperformed or overperformed. And it's so hard because quarterbacks tight end to wide receiver, quarterback to O-line. I don't really know how to do that. But, we just know it just doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's the thing, man. Something just doesn't feel right. And I want to be more open to this, feeling better than it's so hard, man. I just can't trust it right now. And it's just frustrating. Mark, anything else? It was great seeing you guys again, man. Thanks for being there. Thanks for the chain updates you gave me and being a loyal friend of the show and sometimes contributing content in your own special way. Mean the world to me, man. Thank you.
Yep. Tailgate was fun. It was nice meeting everybody and seeing new faces.
Yeah.
Later.
Take it easy, buddy. Have a good one. It was, I saw Mark. He was talking to my brother for a while. That was kind of scary. Listen, man. If you want to be all positive on all this stuff and looking at the bright side and all that, I'm not going to tell you not to. But it's just, listen, the low of Northern hangs over you all year, because if this team's capable of playing that poorly in front of its home crowd against that team, I cannot trust you entering any game. And it's very, very hard for me and awkward for me to pick Notre Dame scores to write up in Sports Illustrated and predict the score. It's almost impossible. How can you can't trust anything you see from this team right now. And I don't like that. Sean says the negative outweighs any good so far. And I've been fighting that in my mind. I've been fighting that in my mind, Sean. The idea of like, you got all that A&M credibility and everything on the high side, and then you have the NIU one on the low side. But it feels like the weight of the like if the emotion is neutral and there's a certain proportion of positive emotion with beating A&M, it feels like there's an more emotion on the negative end because you can't lose that Northern Illinois game than there is on the high end when you win A&M, if that makes sense. It was just really, really a heavy. You don't get over that one, man. I'm sorry. You don't get over that one. That one sticks with you, and it's going to be embarrassing for a really long time. 240, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Hey, John, it's good to talk to you, buddy. And hey, I'll be quick because I know you want to talk football and get a pulse on like what was going on there for the upcoming week. But I just wanted to thank you. I'm off today, and I don't know when I'll be off again to call you during the show, but I wanted to thank you very much for including me in the tailgate. It was great meeting you in person. You have a wonderful family. I enjoyed talking to everyone in your family, your dad, your brother. Your mom is amazing. The Always Nation fans or family that was there treated me well, and you all made me feel welcome, and I just felt obligated, John, to call you when I was off here to thank you very much. I had a great time.
Oh, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it. And the thing I'm most proud of, I think, from this weekend was we literally had people from 20 different states and 3 different countries come to that tailgate. And that is like what I'm most proud of and happy about is none of these people knew each other from Adam. And we just all connected over this mutual love we all have for everything. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing bringing all these people together, man. So it was wonderful meeting you, having you there, your journey to get there just to make sure you were there for it. It was a beautiful thing, man. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah. We had a great group. What a day.
Well, I couldn't stop talking about it when I got back. And like I said, I know you want to get football. I was telling my family and all about it, but I just wanted to thank you. And to touch on football quick, John, like I know we got a lot to clean up, which is better than, sipping the Kool-Aid after the A&M game, like riding back thinking we're on cloud 9. I guess there's a lot we need to clean up special teams, I think, is the main thing that I drew away. You touched on it there, like we still didn't figure out how to get a field goal off, another muff snap.
Yeah.
The nice play we run, and then they threw the block in the back. And then, there's a lot to clean up there. And there's, like you say, I called you before the season began, and I told I was confident in this year. And you said, well, what brings the confidence? Now my confidence is turning in a little bit. I hope they can do this, or I hope they can do that. I just something missing there,
Yeah, something just feels like it's not all clicking on all cylinders. The way like your team feels when it's a top 10, 12 team rolling or whatever, like, and you know what you're going to get week to week. There's a feel when your college football team's rolling that you kind of have week to week. There's a hitch in the giddy up, and I just feel a little uncomfortable. And like, I can't really trust what I'm going to get. That offense is still a work in progress for a bunch of different reasons. And that is frustrating, and no one wants to have the patience. And you just don't have a quarter and a half to get your act together against Louisville this week. You're going to have to get it going sooner. I hate to say it.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing being able to run the ball, but I realize if you get into a game like this week and you can't run the ball, that's what you're going to have to run in. The one thing I drew out of the game, now I haven't been out there in about 6 years, and I didn't realize, I usually watch the games at home here on tape. Like I'll have to work this Saturday. I'll probably get off about 5. I probably won't start watching the game about 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm able to fast forward. All that TV, I know every team goes through it.
Yep.
But I'm sitting there waiting. It's hard to get an offensive rhythm or any kind of rhythm going. Seemed like there were so many pauses, and I look down on the field, and I see that guy holding up like three more minutes yet before the commercial to end.
Dude, imagine.
I know every team does that.
But it really does. You really notice how long those timeouts are when you're in the stadium, right? And you're not at home and go grab some chips or go to the bathroom or grab a beer and come back. Like you're staring at that guy with that clock like, oh, NBC, let's go. Come on, man. Like you're waiting for him to crank that arm with the neon on it. Let's go.
when you're at home, the commercials aren't long enough. When you're at the game, they're
Yeah.
too long, especially in 90-degree heat.
Yeah.
You're sitting there cooking in that sun. But anyhow, that's minor. Like I said, I know every team goes through it. John, I really, I know you have other callers. I wanted to just tell you, that was my main purpose of this call today. I thought I'm going to call you and tell you I felt welcome there. I was by myself there. Like I said, I didn't care to see Notre Dame. I wanted to shake your hand, and I did. And I thank you and your family. You couldn't have treated me any better.
I really appreciate that. And that means the world to me. And I just like that everybody feels welcome and they have a home and they know when we're in town, everybody's welcome to come by. And we had a great day, and everybody, it's just great to keep building the family out and add more and more people. Anything else, my friend? Thanks a lot, man. You were great. I really appreciate the kind words.
Okay. Hey, I'll give one quick shout out to Adam. Whatever he cooked on that grill, that was the best. I don't know whether it's a hot dog or a sausage, but I felt sorry for him in the heat there. But
Adam
he did a great job.
Adam works his butt off, and his wife Tiffany. She lays out a lot of that spread and gets everything set up there. And I couldn't do it all the way I do it without those guys helping. So we got a great crew and some really loyal people helping. So it was fantastic. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Hopefully you can make it again. We'll pick a game for next year.
Okay, John. Hey, thanks for taking my call. Have a great day.
Oh, have a good one, man. I'm glad you made it back home okay. Thanks for the kind words. Yeah, Rodney, the problem is I'm blaming Rodney. Your boy was I was struggling a little bit Saturday morning, and you got to get there early to get your spot set up, and we want an end spot in the tailgate so you have an aisle and then the tee. You get what I'm saying? If you're on the final end spot in an aisle, and then you get both tailgate spots down this way and then down this way. If you're on the end of a lane, you got to get there early for that. Set my alarm for 7 a.m., which is 6 a.m. our time in Illinois, 6 a.m. And Rodney was out there a Friday night. Oh, here's another Irish whiskey shot. Oh, John turns around. Here's another Irish whiskey shot. I could drink Miller Lite all day long. No problem. It's Rodney and those shots. He walks in that house with that bottle. I'm blaming Rodney for this. $10 holler. Terrific time at the tailgate with wonderful people. Louisville is an extremely important game for perception and reality. We have already played a third of our season. Just win. Yeah, Rodney, it was great seeing you, though, brother. It was really, really good seeing you. And I'm just giving you a hard time, but I'm kind of dead serious about I think I would have been fine if it wasn't for those shots, brother. But I admit at 7 a.m., which is 6 my time, that was an early start for Saturday to do it all over again. Yeah, there's you know how it is. You can't say no. What are you going to do? Host a party and then people offer you and then you're like, no, I got to get up tomorrow. Nobody likes that guy. You know I couldn't do that. Give me a break. Tom, what's going on? 716 after this. Tom, what's going on, buddy?
I want to be a beacon of positivity in this sea of negativity.
Please
this
do.
Is too much, John.
Please do. Please do.
Look, here, I just rewatched the game last night, and here's what I saw. You clean up 5 plays, and Notre Dame puts 52 points on the board. Okay, and we're not having this conversation. So, yeah, it was sloppy. 3 of those plays were those 3 bad missed passes. And you know what? I'm glad I wasn't at the game because I would have got kicked out for swearing so badly. But you know what? I got over it. And then what happened after he made 2 of those bad plays? The very next time Notre Dame got the ball, he throws that 38-yard touchdown pass. He hung in there. Now, if you also look at how many passes he actually threw down the field to 6 different receivers, and they were longer than 12 yards each pass. So he's incorporating they're incorporating a bigger part of the playbook, and from what I could see, there are wrinkles that have yet to be seen, that we have not seen yet. And I
well, you should have ironed the wrinkles out against Northern, I guess. Then what are you waiting for?
You know
How
what?
many losses is it going to take before you pull that out, Tom?
I understand.
I'm struggling.
But here,
I'm struggling, man.
I understand that. And here's the thing. There's a revenge game coming up.
Yeah, there is.
This week.
Yep.
I know you don't want to talk about Louisville yet, but that's they've got that game circled, especially how they physically manhandled Notre Dame in the fourth quarter of that game last year.
Yeah.
A lot of those kids remember that. I just want people to remember, if you go down the roster, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and you see the talent that's on this team and how they show up, I've got to be optimistic about this week, this game. Forget the rest of the schedule. They got to win this game, John. This is the season. And it should be a playoff type atmosphere in that stadium.
Tom, do you trust Notre Dame football to play the right kind of game week in and week out? I am just not sure that I do. And that is very, very uncomfortable for me. I just don't trust them. And it hurts me.
It's a good question.
And it hurts me, man.
Here's what I do trust. Here's what I do trust. I do trust my eyeballs and my brain for seeing what I see out of the assistant coaches. Do I trust Marcus Freeman? Not so much. Just some of the crazy things that he said pre-game, post-game, interviews.
Yeah.
If we don't have Al Golden and Denbrock and a few of the other assistants, this ship might sink. And I think they are the glue to this team. I think these kids are resilient. We're starting to see more kids play, especially the young, and that's where I give credit to Freeman. Look at the talent that's on this team because of him. I do give him that credit.
Yeah.
And I've been a harsh critic of his. So, these kids start playing. They have to be more fundamentally sound. I mean, the 3 offside penalties by Pendleton, I'd make that sumbitch start running stairs until he corrects that stuff. You can't have that stuff. Those are drive killers. Those are things that can be corrected. You know what I mean?
Tom, how do you feel about where Riley Leonard's at as Notre Dame's quarterback, this many games into this season? Is it about what you expected? Is it lower than that? Or do you feel like he's starting to finally pick it up?
I didn't know what to expect, but based off of what I saw from him previously, I know he has the talent to be better than he is. I still really think that losing spring and having, an abbreviated amount of time with this offense and these players, it screws up the continuity and the timing.
Yeah.
So, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and then you add the offensive line in there. Then you add the offensive line instability. Right. It's just so frustrating, though, Tom. You just want a Notre Dame offense. You just want it all to be trending in the right direction once. And it's always something holding us back. It'd be nice if everything was going in the right direction, damn it.
I'll tell you what, though, in so far as what I saw on pass protection and run blocking, I would give a C+ or possibly a B to both the replacements. Pat Coogan should actually get a B+, and Rocco Spindler should get a C+. They're above average for doing what they're doing. Now, granted, they weren't playing the greatest defensive line in the world, but they still got it done. Now, the test comes Saturday. We'll see what happens Saturday, because that's a good football team, and that is a well-coached football team.
Yeah, it definitely
So-
is. But this is, man, this is a big, big moment here. And if you want to try and gain back some of this,
is the season.
this is the season. And then
So
if
this-
you could get to this bye with this win and get into the bye, then you have a runway to be able to get back in the hunt for something. There's your positivity. If you continue to improve, you got to get better week by week on this offense, especially.
And then, okay, so there's your positivity. Then let's say this doesn't go right this coming Saturday. What do we do?
Ooh.
Well, if I was the head coach, I'd start getting some reps from Angeli, Minchie, and Carr and get ready for next year. Because what's the point? What are we playing for? We playing for the Frosted Flake Bowl again?
Yep. And you might have to say, Riley Leonard, a good try, man. Not all your fault. Offensive line, you got hurt, not your fault. Take your money, but we need to develop now because we were not reaching our goal. We need to develop now. Or does Freeman get into protect himself mode and still think this is the best way to put us in position to win as many games as we can, and he's not going to do it because of that? I don't know which way you go, but I think people would respect the way of development with a younger guy a lot if you're in that position.
Well, there's no question about that. And from what I understand, there is a relationship with Pete Bavacqua and Marcus Freeman. So as the new AD, he doesn't owe, and we talked about this last week. Yeah, he doesn't owe Freeman anything. Yeah, but they are. He's paying close attention. And if you notice, walking off I don't know if you wouldn't have been able to see it, but on the replay, I noticed walking off the field with Marcus Freeman was Pete Bavacqua into the locker room after Saturday's game. Yeah. He's sitting right on the tip.
What did Freeman – I missed the press conferences and all that. I was driving and leaving the house, and I was all messed up. I missed the press conferences. People are not liking what Freeman did or said or anything. Can anybody fill me in on I missed all that. Somebody fill me in on what he did that people didn't like.
Well, if he talked about the fact that, some of the plays that Riley Leonard that were called for him, that maybe we shouldn't be running those plays. You don't say that to the national media. You don't say that to anybody. That's something for the locker room. You discuss that with the offensive coordinator, the quarterback room, and the quarterback coach. That's the part that is so unnerving to me, to see how he is almost too honest with the media. Now, is there a press conference this morning?
I think
there usually is on a Monday morning.
I think it's every Monday at 11:30. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so I would love somebody, and I know that Tyler Horka and one other fella has asked some hard questions, and he has kind of grizzled at the questions. Yeah. And he's turning into a little bit of a Brian Kelly, God forbid.
Oh boy!
And he's starting to say, when he starts to say, "Oh, winning is hard," and that crap.
Winning's,
you know what I'm talking about,
and winning's extra hard when it's Northern Illinois at your place. Winning's really hard, man.
Yeah. So I just that's cringeworthy. Yeah. And he did make that statement, but I had to. I almost don't want to listen to him get interviewed by Zora Stevenson. For sake, it's ridiculous. But people listen to it, and they get that microphone in his face. I just think he's got to learn to just give him a little bit of coach speak and say thank you, compliment the team for playing well, the visiting team, win, lose, or draw, and saying we did the best we could today. Thank you very much, and we got to get ready for our next opponent and just walk away.
Yeah, some people seem to think they're shortening these pressers purposefully because Freeman is visibly looking not that comfortable in there, and his answers they're getting more and more like wandering off the reservation, where some of them I'm like, you're doing coach speak, but it doesn't even really apply to what we're talking about. Like, he just wants to get in and out of there. Right. And so I don't know if that's in his head or now he feels all the heat after NIU and he's being extra cautious in his brain. And it's but people are noticing that it's tough. And it's not going smoothly in that meeting room. Anything else, Tom? Really good to hear from you, buddy. I hope you're feeling good.
Yeah, I'm okay, John. No, I'm listen, that's the positive that we got to think about, though. I think, hopefully the Notre Dame fans show up Saturday in green. It should be a green out. Let's get them back. I think if they can, they can run the ball effectively and they clean up all that crap.
Those are some big ifs. And if the quarterback can complete passes, like you're adding a lot of things to the list that's got to happen that I don't see enough of.
Tell you, but just to see him again, when I ran him again, John, how close he was. Those were short outs, but there was a play in the last the second to last drive where they scored a touchdown, where he threw an underneath route to I think it was number 2, or was it? He threw an underneath route, and it set up the touchdown for the next play, which gave him that 50-yard run. And that 50-yard run to ice the game for that touchdown. Did you see the block that Jeremiah Love threw? He took on a linebacker and knocked him on his ass and knocked him back 2 yards.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, but where was it the first quarter and a half? Like, I'm sorry, man. Like,
you know what?
I'm just frustrated, Tom. It's all just not far enough down the road to where I needed it to be and wanted it to be, man. I'm sorry.
It's something on.
Go beat Louisville. Go beat Louisville and get into that bye, and then I'll be in a lot more positive mood and start to be able to trust you again. But this is everything's hanging in the balance here against this Louisville on the Peacock, not even on TV, and not a night game. It's not on TV. No TV, and it ain't a night game. So you better be ready to go.
I don't know why they didn't make the Miami game a Peacock game.
I don't get it.
Do that.
I don't get it either.
I don't get that stuff either, but go Irish. I think they put it together. Honestly, I think Freeman's better when he's under a little bit of pressure. I just don't understand how he doesn't have them ready to play.
It's very, very frustrating.
Northern.
It's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Tom, hang in there, man.
If it was my team, I'm moving them off campus on Thursday night. I'm taking them to Michigan City or New Buffalo, and I'm going to put them in a hotel room and bring them back 3 hours before kickoff and say, let's go.
There you go.
You know what I mean?
There you go. Tom, it's good. It's good to hear from you, buddy. We missed you at the party, but we'll get you next time.
See you, brother.
Have a good one, buddy. Yep. Take care. You know what cracks me up? I'm not saying Tom did this, but football fans do this all the time. I was watching some Bears post-game stuff. They had a very bad loss yesterday against a team they shouldn't lose to. And that doesn't affect me emotionally. I have no emotional investment in the Bears. They're just the local team, and I follow everything they do, but it's not emotional. It's actually very enjoyable following the Bears. Win or lose, it's interesting, and I have no emotion to it. It's actually pretty freeing. And it's just funny hearing people be like, they'll call in on a post-game Bears show and be like, yeah, if it wasn't for all those turnovers and everything, we would have won the game. It's like, they're like, if it wasn't for those 3 backbreaking turnovers we had, we probably would have won the game, man. You mean the biggest plays of the game that usually dictate who wins or loses the game? Obviously, it just cracks me up when people are like, if only we did everything right that we did wrong, I think we would have played better. Yeah, no kidding, bro. No kidding, bro. Cole Kmet had a great day. I think he had 10 catches, 97 yards. He kept getting up the seam. It was beautiful to see, but man, oh man. Pat, it's good to have you here, buddy. Pat Cotter, the whole Cotter crew was there. Telling you, you get Pat on the back of a pickup truck with a microphone. Oh, baby, it's like stand-up time. Andrew Gilmore said, yeah, Andrew, isn't it amazing? If you could just get out of Chicago, good things happen. if you're a quarterback. You just got to get out of Chicago and good things happen. Andrew said, I think it's interesting to see Freeman, fans of Freeman start to turn on him or whatever. Andrew, think about this. This is what I've always said, and I said this during the Kelly era. I used to say this before the Kelly era, but before I had a show and did content. And I mean it 100%. I mean it 100%. Nikki Dane, Pat has slimmed way down. Great for him. He's on a cigar and Miller Lite only diet, and it gets him real lean to where he's ready to play golf. All right? That's the key to his health. Miller Lite and fat cigars. All right? Andrew said, it's weird seeing these Freeman people turn on him or whatever. No. Here's the answer to that. And I mean it genuinely. This is not Johnny speak, which is my version of coach speak. This is legitimate. My loyalty is always to what is best for Notre Dame football over any individual. Do you understand? My loyalty is to the cause, the collective cause of whatever gets Notre Dame football to the closest to their next title they could be. That's where my loyalty goes. Not to one individual. It's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. So Freeman, I believe, really nice guy, genuine guy, whatever. I want it to work or whatever. But like, if there just starts to be all this evidence piling up on the scale that it's not trending good enough, what do you want to do? It doesn't matter how much you like the guy then. Reality's reality. It doesn't matter if you like the guy. Reality's reality, and it doesn't matter if you like the guy or love the guy at that point. If there starts to be all this evidence weighing on the bad end. Okay? So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just, it's frustrating. 716, you're in the mix. Good morning.
Good morning, Johnny. Hey, listen, that last caller made me laugh, made me reminisce about my dad. My dad was a huge Notre Dame fan, of course, like I shared with you. He grew up in Chicago until he was 14, and then he moved there from Olean after he was about a year. I loved Notre Dame, got grass off the field for him in '96 when my youngest son and I were out there. But anyways, when he said, I'd make him run the stairs, right? My dad would say, get out of there. Remember Holtz? I watched this thing on Holtz, and he said, get out of there with whoever's yelling at you. You're killing me here. Get out of there. Get somebody in there who knows how to run this play. You know, my dad be the same way. Make him run 10 laps. Make him run 10 laps.
Hey,
I was laughing so hard.
Whatever works. I don't care what you need to do. Old school, new school, whatever you got to do to get this team prepared to play good quality football when the whistle starts. I don't understand, man. Am I asking for too much that we just play good from the beginning of the game? Like, I don't understand why I see teams start out playing well all the time and we just don't, and it's very frustrating.
Well, listen, there's one other thing I want to share. I have this friend of mine, and his great uncle played for University of Buffalo, right? So he texts me, we got an upset. He says, I said, oh, don't tell me Buffalo beat. He beat Northern Illinois. He goes, that's it. You got it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. 73.1 miles from my house, an hour and 23 minutes away. It's where UB is. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, and they beat Northern Illinois. And once again, you know, it's a mental game. I talked to a guy at church yesterday. It was a walk-on at Penn State, Rick. He was a defensive tackle. Still got a grip like a stinking iron vice. But anyways, he said to me when I mentioned that to him that I called you, and I said I was sharing with him that, you know, it's 10% physical and 90% mental. He goes, Todd, you're 100% correct. It is 10% mental. Now, he was talking earlier about Freeman in the press conferences, right? Well, if you notice last week's press conference, he was guarded about some of the things that he said. And what was really kind of strange about it was, he was asked a question about Hogan playing center, and could that be ultimately his best position? And Freeman answered. He says, "Well, he's playing well, and I hope it is. I hope it is what his best position." Then he went on he was asked another question. He goes, I hope it is the best position for him. They talked a little more, and his next answer was that I hope he plays his best moving forward. Now, that, to me, that's kind of strange answers, you know? Like, yeah, we know we can handle it, and we're really sure. Well, what's the I hope he's playing his best? I hope he's playing his best moving forward. Meaning, like, he's not really sure. He doesn't know. I don't know. You're the head coach. Then something was said about playing. They asked him something. And he goes, question was, you said something about playing to Riley's strength. This is his answer was, this is the offense now that was the best offense we felt would give us success against Purdue. So I'm kind of pondering these things, John, and I'm thinking, okay, you talk about being upset. My wife came in and she goes, don't be so mad. I said, hon, we've run 2 offensive series. He can't throw a little dump pass. I said, he's everything's going to the right because he's pushing the ball. He doesn't have his elbow straight. It's just like throwing an overhand curveball. Your elbow's got to come forward as a quarterback. He's not throwing it. His elbow flares out, and he throws it like that. Afterwards, in the press conference, he said something to the effect, well, that's on me. I wasn't thinking about my mechanics or something, or I got to get set. You're a quarterback at Notre Dame. You threw for 3,000 yards 2 years ago. What is the problem all of a sudden? Has somebody messed around with your mechanics? Have they not let you just do what you used to do? Remember, there was a guy that said, how come the quarterbacks go to Notre Dame and they seem to get worse rather than improve? Has somebody messed with his mechanics? And sometimes you leave a guy alone if he's passing good. Don't change anything. Just leave him alone.
Yeah.
And I wondered about that. And then I did watch the breakdown with Goolsby that you recommended. And the thing is, he has people open. He was afraid to pull the trigger. He doesn't lead anybody. He waits. My grandson did this. My grandson started playing flag football in 8th grade. And I had him at quarterback. And he's telling me, my son calls me daily and he goes, Dad, it was awful. He threw 4 touchdowns, but he threw 8 interceptions. I'm like, what? And he said, then the next week it was, Dad, he threw 1 interception and he threw something like 6 touchdowns. What changed? He says the coach told him, look at Daniel, don't throw it to the guy, lead him with the ball and let him run into it. Riley Leonard doesn't do that. He doesn't.
You will notice. A lot of his most comfortable deliveries are guys in one spot and they're already there and they kind of turn around and then he hits them. There isn't as much of that. I don't know, man. It's just kind of a frustrating work in progress. And I don't want to be a jerk. I don't want to be overly negative. Don't feel like this team is playing as good and as reliable football that I need them to play. And I'm very frustrated. Week to week, I'm considering everything. And I hate that a defense that's allowing less than 10 points is getting dragged down in the muck here. I overall, this whole operation, the whole football team, the whole football program is not playing as well or as consistently as I need them to.
Well, like I said, I look at some of the scenarios. It'd be interesting what Freeman says in the press conference today, because I heard, I don't know, it wasn't Tyler Horka. I think it's the other guy I listened to on, what is it? I'm trying to think of what it is about, Locked On Irish. And he said something, I think, to the fact that if you ask the wrong question in a press conference, you're going to get asked any more questions. Well, wait a minute. It's a press conference.
It's not how it works. That's not how it works. Notre Dame has complete control of that entire dynamic. It is their room. It is their promotional thing. They open and close the access, call on who they want to. That is just how it is. And if you want to go hard, you better make it a good one because it might be your last. And that is just the way this goes. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. The reality is that whole, I want our media to go in there and ask the tough questions. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of some other scenarios here. And it's, okay, let's look at it this way. Okay, Marcus, here's the deal. This is the second quarterback you and your coaches have picked out. We're going to make it work. And if it doesn't work, you're gone, because we are not investing in this. We've already got $2 million invested. Or it's, I'm going to stick with them out of arrogance to prove that I was right about the quarterback I selected.
Yeah.
So you send the team down the tubes because of pride, because of your pride. Pride goes before the fall. And that means it could be a lot more losses. But I was screaming on the couch. It was coming in for the third series, and I go, you can't put him in. No way. This $2 million experiment is done. It's finished. It's through. Forget about it and move on. But the thing is,
It's tough.
that he throws for 3,000 yards 2 years ago. And that's what's bugging me. It's the pass to Mitchell, right? That was a fantastic pass. I mean, he just let it rip, and the defender knew he was beat, so he tackles Mitchell. He didn't have any other choice. That's going for 6. And the one that he hit to Collins, right on the money. He seems to work with Collins the best. But here's the thing a lot of people don't know, and you might. He actually took his receivers down to Phillip Rivers' camp in Alabama and got them down there and worked with them. Over the summer, he worked with them. So how could you work with them and not have any kind of continuity with them?
I know, it's frustrating. I know, man. It just doesn't quite feel like everything's adding up. Like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not good with the calculations. I just don't feel like everything's adding up. And it's just kind of, it's driving me crazy. So the bottom line is, this week's going to tell you a lot. You're going to have a lot of people either checking out or doubling down and buying back in, depending on this Louisville result. But you're going to have to play a full game of good football. You're not going to be able to get away with this 3 quarters type stuff and the other quarters garbage. You can't do it anymore. Can you put together a full game in your own house? I don't think that's too much to ask, but that's where we're at.
Well, here's the thing. The person that should be coaching the team, if you listen to him, is, gosh, I'm going to blank on his name now. He's the guy in the booth. Used to coach the Cowboys. He's in the NBC booth on the play-by-play color.
Garrett.
Yeah, Garrett. Yeah, Jason Garrett. He's the one that said, look, why aren't they watching this guy from Miami, this McDonald, I think his name was, or whatever? He says, that's their go-to guy. He goes, why aren't they covering him? I'm thinking, he sees that. The coaches don't see it. He did give praises to the DB coach, or the defensive coach, I should say, the coordinator, about, he says he's one of the best in the business. But it took our defense a while to get used to what Miami was doing too, which is kind of strange. But the offense, I don't know. I can't figure it out. I just got to believe it has something to do with Freeman saying, this is the guy we chose. I'm going to stick with him and prove you people wrong. You got the boosters and everybody saying, hey, we might put a package together and buy him out, because this isn't working well. It's going to be interesting. The whole thing is we're wasting a defense that Charlie Weiss would have loved to have had because of his offense. We'd have won the national championship if Weiss had defenses like this.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind he would have. I mean, because he designed offensive was crazy.
Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know.
It's tough.
It's hard.
So I don't know. I want to believe. I want to feel more confident week to week, but this team's got to prove more to me. And the NIU thing took a lot of wind out of my sails, and I'm going to argue justifiably so. We're going to see what we're going to get. Why don't you do a little research on this Louisville situation? Call me back in the next couple shows and preview that one for me, okay?
Yeah, listen, I want to tell you this. I did watch the Oklahoma game, right?
Okay.
You think our quarterback's bad? Watch the quarterback from Oklahoma. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. I couldn't believe it. But he yanked him out and put somebody else in.
Yep. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did see that. So think about this Louisville one and call me back in a couple of days. Let me know what you think, okay?
Yeah, thanks, John.
Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good start to your day. Take care now.
All right.
Oh, man, that dude loves him some Notre Dame football. He gets worked up. Worked up. Why are people being like prickly in the chat? I don't understand what's going on. Why are people being like, I don't know. I just didn't expect it on a Monday. I don't know why people are being like weird in the chat. I can't catch up with all of it, but geez. I don't want to bring this up, but I'm going to. The dynamic of if Notre Dame wins this Louisville game and gets into the bye, and then you have a chance and you're still alive, whatever. If you don't, and if you sleepwalk at your own building again and whatever, and it doesn't go well and the offense holds the team back, the whole scene that we're used to, and you go down and your playoff life is, I think, over. I already went over. I don't think 10-2 Notre Dame with one of the losses being to Northern gets in this playoff. I don't see it. So I don't think you can afford that. You could go 11-1. It couldn't be that one. You could maybe even go 10-2, but that couldn't be one of them. You ruined that. The big question is, if that happened and you lost it, does Freeman have the guts to play another quarterback and say, our goals for the year are ruined. This is not what we wanted. Now we have an obligation to develop for the future because the goal isn't to reach some bowl game no one cares about. You got to be in the playoff or the years of failure. So we need to go. We're going to start developing now because our goals are ruined. Or and admit the line, the injury, a lot of things beyond people's control, even whatever. Fine. Or does Freeman get into protect mode? Does he get into protect mode? And you got to protect your situation. And now you're feeling the threat and you got to win as many games as you can. And you're worried if you go with the Angeli or one of the other guys, you're going to lose a couple more games. But are you still going to say he could step up there and go, Riley Leonard still gives us the best chance to win? That's all he has to say and the conversation ends, does it not? Right? Like that's what he could say. If he didn't want to do that or didn't have the guts to because he's in protect mode, if you're in that position, he could just go, we still think Riley Leonard gives us the best chance to compete, even though we're out of the playoff hunt. And then you're in a position where you're not playing for anything and you're getting no development and it's a waste of the second half of the year. I'm sorry. I love Notre Dame football, but I'm being honest. If you're doing that, P-Dub says he has to do what's best for the team. Is there a simple answer to that? What is the answer to that? What is best for the team? Playing Riley Leonard when you're out of the hunt and he's one and done and there's no development at all? Is that better for the team? Or playing one of the younger guys that could develop with these receivers that's actually going to be here on the team next year? I totally get he has to do what's best for the team. I'm trying to figure out what that is. You say what's best for the team. I don't know what the answer to that is. Whatever. Andrew, you could say it's a waste of time. I drove home the whole way thinking about this yesterday. The whole way home, I was thinking of that dynamic. And I hope we can avoid it. But I thought about it the whole way home, man. You cannot play the way. Why can't this team just come ready to play at home? Why are you just not excited to be at home and play good football? I don't understand, man. The fans want to support you. Why can't you just play good football when the game starts? 937, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me all right?
I can. Thanks for the call.
Hey, I'm similar to you in that my fandom is shrouded in negativity part to protect myself from being let down every year. You know, every year it starts off the same. I drink the Kool-Aid with the recruiting and, we're chocked full of talent, right? Just, there's talent at every level on this defense, right? Blah, blah, blah. Offense, a little different scenario. What I think the negativity comes from moving forward is that, people have been talking about Freeman's comments and whatnot here and there, but it's like, where is you can accept mistakes on offense or defense, right? You can accept, but if you're asserting your will, like you're running your identity offense and you're doing that at a successful level, but yet we just have like no continuity on offense at all. It's this disjointed fragment. We're going to try this. If this doesn't work, we're going to run Riley Leonard. And we might hand the ball off to Jeremiah Love or Jadarian Price, and hopefully they break one. That's our fucking offense. My bad. That's our offense.
Yeah.
That's our offense.
It's just,
But
I so badly want all of that operation to just be further down the road, and it's not. And I'm just sick of Notre Dame's offenses not being good enough. They're not what I need them to be. I don't remember the last one that was what I needed to be. And it's just really, really frustrating. And then everybody tells you, oh, have a little patience, have a little patience. Well, we haven't won a major bowl game to be proud of in 30 years. Is that not enough patience? Like, that's the game you got to play then, is have patience or whatever. But it's like, dude, 30 years? That's a long time to be waiting to win something anybody respects. Come on now.
Right. And so it's like, oh, well, and I'll go to the one, people have been talking about what Marcus Freeman says. And I've been a big Freeman guy. But, before the game, he says, oh, Miami's got a good defense, blah, 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 coach speak, yada, yada, yada. But then he says, we're going to take what Miami gives us. No, that's not what you do. You are going to play your brand of football.
No, you take what you want, and then you make them deal with it. That's what you do if you're a real team. You take what you want, and they deal with it.
And, you could say, oh, well, we're missing X, Y, Z on the offensive line. I completely understand that. But you're telling me that our backup offensive line can't go up, man up, and just bully ball Miami of Ohio in the first quarter of the game.
I don't think they can do it. I don't think they could do it. I don't think the O-line could do it. I don't think they could do it.
Okay, and I'll switch to the defense. And I'm going to the game next week or this Saturday. I always choose the most pivotal game of the season. I try to, and I was Ohio State last year. I called in last year and dropped a couple F-bombs. I apologize. I did it again. And I am greatly concerned, and I think our defense is elite. However, you can say whatever you want. Oh, we held them to 3 points. But in every game, and I don't know why teams other than Northern Illinois aren't just going to say, we are going to run the ball.
Yeah.
Because our interior defensive line is not good.
It's really funny. Mark with glasses just said, you're only saying you chose this game because you didn't want to pay for Peacock. So it's easier to just go to the game than get a dumb subscription to Peacock. That's why.
Peacock, so whatever.
But it's just funny. It is a little surprising to me that they picked Peacock to be the stream only game. That does surprise me a little bit. I figured it'd be the Miami Ohio game, but what do I know?
It's the most. Look, it is. Everybody's saying this is the season. It's it.
Yeah.
If you lose this game,
yep, it's over.
You blow it up.
Ooh.
You start playing. You start playing young guys.
But
look,
can Freeman? But wait. If
you're Riley Mills back,
if you're Freeman, how do you justify that?
You paid $1 million to bring a quarterback in. And you're going to go 10-2 with no hope of going to the playoffs. What are we here to do? It's playoffs or nothing now. You're paying players to go to the playoffs. If you don't go to the playoffs, your season is over.
But that's to the fans.
That means that
to the fans.
In the top 12.
That's to the fans. What is there's a huge difference here. That's how we see it. Freeman may see it the wall and I got to win all the games I can or whatever. Like, it's a different mentality. Yeah. I want to go the youth. If you lose another game, I want to do what you want to do too. I just don't know if they're going to have the guts to do it. It admits failure. Failure.
There's a lot to play for. There's a big, long season ahead.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen in college football, blah, blah, blah. You lose to Northern Illinois and a mediocre, let's be honest, Louisville's not an elite team.
That's true.
They're not an elite team.
That's true.
You lose to them at home, your season's over. And let's be honest about the first part of our season. one aberration game where we light it up against an awful Purdue team. They are terrible. We average about 20-some points a game against a mediocre Texas A&M team. They just went toe-to-toe with the vaunted Bowling Green defense. Oh, yeah, that was a tough, Northern Illinois loses to Buffalo. And we struggled against the team with the pulse in that first half. Louisville hangs 21 on us in the first quarter and a half.
That's too many. That's too many, brother.
On us in the first quarter and a half if we play like that.
Oh,
You're telling me
man.
that Louisville doesn't punch that ball in from the 5-yard line? Come on, dude.
Oh.
I mean, what are we talking about here? You could say, oh, well, he's 5 passes away from having an elite performance. Well, you could say that about every football game, but the problem is you could say that about every performance he's had so far. So you have to go by the body of work. He can't make those throws.
Whew. Man, there's a lot on the line this week. This is going to get juicy as we get further into the week and we start talking about Louisville. And there's just a lot on the line.
Base here? Am I just talking out of the side of my neck? Am I off base here?
It's just you're painting a picture that's a little worrisome, man. You're just painting a picture
and another reason that everybody was so optimistic and why it's the sky is falling kind of conversations is what you brought back. And then let's look at the future. Oh, you have your NFL defensive linemen, Howard Cross and Riley Mills. Well, look at the recruiting job that Al Washington, what do we have coming back for next year in the interior? It's terrible. It's terrible. Undersized, underperforming. It's terrible. And what do all the elite teams have? Dudes in the middle.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. You're right about that. I'm so much more worried about the offense than I am the defense right now, though. It's just, oh man. Let me worry about one thing at a time. Let me worry about one thing at a time, will you?
Andrew's comment. No, I do not. I do not think Angeli's the answer. I don't. I think that you made your bed with Riley Leonard. You got to ride it out.
Yeah.
You got to ride it out.
Ooh.
And if he loses this game, then you blow it up.
Well, that's not riding it out. Well, wait, no, that's the opposite of riding it out. That is pulling the plug if you're out of contention. That's the opposite of riding it out.
You got to ride out this game. Like I just said, this game is the season. It's the season. So if you lose this game, then you blow it up.
Yeah. Well, that's what I would want to do. And
you give Angeli a shot. You give Minchie a shot after that. You give CJ a shot after that. This is the audition for next year.
Man, I don't. Number one is I don't want to be in the position. And number two is I don't know how the staff is going to react if they're in that position. Let's just hope we avoid it. Anything else, my friend? I appreciate the energy on a Monday morning.
No, that's it, man. Yep, that's it. Sorry about the F-bomb.
So it's okay, man. Have a good Monday. I like the energy there. Speaking of F-bombs, my main man Martinez, please don't do it. I just had one. I'm trying to keep it clean. Come on, bro. What's up?
Hello?
What's going on?
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
Johnny, are you here?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm talking to you.
Sorry, man. I was at the customer, but
well, by all means, tell your customer you have more important things to do. Get back to them later.
No, I am. Hey, man, I'm really sorry, man. I had everything booked, but considering my little episode a few weeks ago, I have to kind of save up for some legal issues.
Hey, bro, listen, man, I don't want to get you in any more legal trouble or nothing. Have no bounty hunters at the Always Irish Tailgate undercover looking for my main man Martinez. You know, we don't want any. I don't want to be harboring any fugitives in the North lot. Okay, bro.
No, so once I'm done with all that,
I'll be at the blue and gold game next year because, man, I really wanted to meet you in person.
But dude, the only problem with that blue and gold one is the weather's so unreliable. Like, you just don't know whether you're going to get 80 degrees or if you're going to get 30 degrees, man. You don't know what you're going to get.
Hey, man, that's okay. Here in Utah, it was like a downpour where we got like 2 inches of rain on Tuesday, and then about an hour later, the sun was out. It's the craziest weather you could ever experience here living here in the Mountain West, man.
Yeah, that's a different way to live. My main man, what do you make of this? Where do you think Notre Dame's at, man? I just have this anxiety. Like, I just don't feel like we don't play the way I need us to play. I don't know. How do you feel?
You know what, man? For the last 2 years, I've argued with people, like I tell you, and guys on the chat, and I've disagreed, and I've even, been a little disrespectful when I've been on my on my drinking binges. But I have to agree with them, man. It's a sad day for me to say, especially for a coach that I admired and really was excited about. Like, for me to, like, I'm old school, man, and I'm like, hey, dude, unless you're shitting, pissing, and throwing up on yourself, you better get up and come to practice. If you can't get no sweat on your balls, man, and get your hands a little calluses, man, you don't belong in football. If you can't shit on a porta potty, man, and you need a bidet to wipe your ass, get the hell out of here. Like, that's how I used to coach, really. But for me to see him yell at that DB for having some attitude, like, here's the ball, man, after a dog shit ass first half of a performance, and sit there and baby Leonard, I'm sorry, man. Like, my support's out the window, man. I can't get down like that. I can't, man. I can't.
Dude, wait. Let me ask this. Why are people saying Freeman was crying during the game? Was he sweating like everybody else was? Like, I had sweat pouring down my face. I don't understand. A bunch of people have referenced in the chat that they saw Freeman like crying on the sideline during the game. Was he just sweating? Like, I had sweat pouring down I got a 7 head, bro. I don't have a 4 head. I have a 7 head. And in that heat, I mean, I was dripping. Is that what it was? What do people mean when he's saying that? Like, it had to be sweat. Give me a break, right? Somebody explain it to me.
No, from the TV's perspective, he wasn't crying. I think it was sweating. Like you said, one of the callers said, we're all sitting there with the serious case of swamp ass because it's so hot, right?
Yeah.
But no, he wasn't crying. I think they were just saying, because it's the first time he actually had to yell at a player. I mean, ask yourself, when in 3 years have you seen him actually yell at a player? None. I haven't. I used to see a troll swamp ass Kelly do that all the time, especially for Tommy, which I really hated. And he used to baby Wimbush, and I liked Wimbush. I really did. I thought he was a good athlete. I didn't think he was the best quarterback, but no, he wasn't crying. I think it was the first time he actually yelled at somebody, so it kind of hurt his feelings more than it did the players. But sorry, man.
It was just, I'm like, dude, I know I was sweating. It was pouring down my face and I can't see everything down on the sidelines. So what do you think, man? Like, a better second half. The offense turned it up a little bit. Leonard completed some of those passes. What do you make of it? You feel better this week? Are we going to be ready to play 4 quarters against Louisville? Let's go.
I think our defense, like I tell people, against NIU, the defense was on 80% of the play clock time. And that would wear a defense down, regardless of how good they are. That you're on the field 80%, and I think if we're on the field 80%, and even in the first half, we was on the field about 80%, and until a few big plays. And I don't have no confidence in Leonard. I don't like bashing the kids. Like I said, I coached a lot of great kids, and I never really liked. But Leonard, to me, by far, because of the hype, because of the expectation. And Hartman left everybody bitter, but Leonard to me is probably the worst quarterback in Notre Dame history in my lifetime that I've seen. He's worse than Dane Chris. He's worse than Gunnar Keel.
It's gotten that bad for you. It's gotten that rough for you.
Bro.
Oh
yeah.
man, come on, man. We're going to come out of the gates ready to play. We're going to come out of the gates ready to play this time. It's a bigger game. Maybe we'll be engaged, fully locked in and engaged now because it's a game you got to have. They'll feel the moment and they'll be ready to go. What do you think? Come on now. No. He's just like, nope, it ain't going to be that.
Johnny, no, Johnny. And I've always stayed positive. I've always defended Freeman. I thought he's a great man of character for these kids, but I have to be honest, man, you're not doing them no favors if you're babying them, man. But I hope that they're ready to go. I hope we don't lay an egg like we did against NIU. And I hope that they're 100%,
engaged and focused on getting that revenge match and destroying our season last year. That's a very good Louis team we're playing against, and, Chuck Martin, my hat off to him, man. What other opposing coach has an autograph signed by Ara Parseghian on your university's football logo?
That guy he's a cool dude. I like that old dude, and he likes Notre Dame too. So I don't know, man. Listen, I'm totally open to the idea that they go in there and get real serious because they know this is a bigger type game, and they get ready for it, and the crowd will be engaged again. And if you could get into this bye with a win against Louisville, then you do have a chance to have this stay on the rails for this year. I'm very much open to that. That's what I need to see. I'm just not sure what I'm going to get week to week, and it drives me nuts and stresses me out. I'm just not sure what I'm going to get week to week, man.
Yeah, Johnny, and that's where we're at. And I'm not impressed with these wins. I'm actually just a little shocked that Purdue didn't give us the match that they usually do, but that's about it. I'm not impressed with them. As far as the kids, I think they played great, but I'm not impressed with. We went out there and did this to Purdue. Well, you should have did that to NIU, man. And I'm not.
People are saying they just get over the NIU thing. You can't. It's just not a run-of-the-mill loss. That is one that it follows you around. You can't just get over. That's one if you're a player, you have to. If you're a coach, you have to. But if you're a fan or a media guy, you don't have to get over NIU. That was a big moment, and it's okay to let it dictate some of your thoughts. It was the one it couldn't be.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what, Johnny? I'm rooting for them, man. I'm hoping all of us put our foot in our mouth, and at the end of the season, we go into the playoff, we win on the road, we actually make a run, but you better do something fast, man, because that passing game, it's the worst I've ever seen in Notre Dame history, bro. And but you know what? I'm rooting. Like I said, nothing against them, man, but I don't trust them, especially.
Hey, Martinez, I want you to call in on the post-game show after we beat Louisville with your energy, and I know you're going to be all worked up, and you're going to go, Johnny, we're back, baby. Enjoy the bye. Let's party. That's what I need from you, man. That's what I need from you. I need it, and we did miss you. I understand you had things come up. You'll connect with us at some point. We had a good group. Anything else, my friend? Good touch of base with you.
Nah, buddy, like I said, love the Irish, love the team. Just onward, Notre Dame, man. Let's go get Louisville, man. Get
That's all you could do. My main man, give me a call again. Have a good day at work, man. Take care.
Okay, buddy.
See ya. Dude, I really love people that call me during work. That just seems like a big commitment. $10 holler from Nomer TD. Tony, it was great to see you too. Thanks for a great weekend, John. In the Kennedy AI family, go Irish. Thanks for bringing the Lewski. We took some shots out of that. Made some quick work on that. Oh, we have a good group. We have such a good group. What else? I highlighted something here. Bob says, we cannot change the NIU game. That is correct. But I could still complain about it all I want. What do you like? I know you can't. That's the problem. The problem is that you can't change the NIU game. You're right. It's the biggest problem I have is that you can't change the NIU game. I'm not a player or coach. I can let it bother me all I want. When you show me you're capable of playing that bad and losing a game like that, when you're ranked number 5 in the country and undefeated at home for the first time in front of your people, you can't blame the fan base for being negative or glass half empty or anything. You did it. You spilled the cup. When you do what they did against Northern, you cannot blame the fans for not having faith or anything. Give me a break. We want to buy in. Tim, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, John, how you doing? Give me a second.
Sure.
Turn my speaker off. Glad you had a good time at the tailgate.
Thanks, man. We had a really, really good crowd.
I hate to say it, but first of all, on the Peacock, this isn't rocket science. They're trying to build that market on that app. So what are you going to do? You're going to put one of Notre Dame's bigger games on that. That's why they do it. I'm surprised they haven't done an SC game in the past.
I hate
prior
it.
years.
I hate it so much. I hate it. It's got to be a lower level game, and I want it to be an option, not a requirement. They're pushing something people don't want, man. It's muscle memory. Let me just have number 5 and be mad for 4 hours, Tim. Is that too much to ask in my life? Give me number 5 and just let me be mad. That's all I need.
John, I get you, but everything in the world's run by money.
I know.
And they have to have this take off because you know why? In the long run, we get more money.
Man, listen, I get it. It's just, I am really surprised it wasn't Miami. I just thought it'd be a lower level game. I get why it isn't if they didn't want to do it on the first home game. I totally get that because that was a big one everybody wanted to see on TV. But I don't know. I just thought it'd be the Miami, Ohio game, but it's not. So get your antenna ready for the Peacock.
But I have to move on, John, the depression thing on this.
Okay.
Especially when they lost to Buffalo and not the Bills. I lived through it, unfortunately, and it was 4 years of terrible high school life and then my first year in college. We're at Jerry Faust 2.0, and I hate to say that, but it's true. His teams are undisciplined. You're a reflection of it when we could have scored points at the end of the half, and we got the safety flipping the ball on the sidelines, getting an unsportsmanlike conduct. Shula. I mean, come on. Mistake after mistake after mistake. They play up one week, down the other. That's exactly what Faust teams did. Faust would beat teams. He went on the road one year and beat LSU when they were in the top 10, but then lose he couldn't beat Air Force, for God's sakes.
Tim,
I think
what?
Freeman's in over his head. You can tell the pressure's getting to him.
I was going to ask.
He's getting shorter and shorter in his answers in the press conference, and you can just see he's aged already.
What do you attribute this instability to largely? Like what is it? Lack of having the best players in the right position you need for it to come together? Do you think it's all coaching and direction? Like, what do you think is the undercurrent that causes the instability and irregularity we see with this team?
I think it's lack of his head coaching experience. I thought this would be better with the two coordinators. And let's face it, you can't really put a lot of blame on the defense when you're averaging under 10 points.
It's under 10 points, man. It's hard to blame them for much.
I did the math. It's like 9.6.
Yep.
But with a great defense, if you're going to win a title, you're going to have to sneak out a game. They had to sneak out 2 in '88 against Navy and against Pittsburgh. You got to get that stop and get off the field. We had a 1-point lead. Put the game away. We didn't do it. And you got to be negative about Northern Illinois because this is year 3. This was supposed to be a special year. And even if we run the table, which I highly don't think so, I honestly think he might pull out Louisville because that's kind of been his MO. But he's going to drop another game or two somewhere along the line. And I honestly think unless this offense really improves, SC will blow our doors off.
See, at least you got time.
Their offense is that good.
At least you have time to worry about that one, right? Like we have a lot to go here
right.
before it's going to be really, really interesting. Tim, it's just, I just don't feel like
depressing. I've texted you a few times. It's depressing.
I just don't.
It's like Dante, abandon all hope of winter here.
I just don't feel like the team's playing as good as I needed or wanted or hoped them to be overall. Even when I include the good defense, it's just too unpredictable. And there's not a high baseline floor level of play I can rely on. And it's really disappointing, man. It really is disappointing. And I am, it's frustrating, man.
And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we figure it out and run the table 11-1.
Me too.
Guess what our reward is? Because I've seen some people with that bad a loss don't think we get in. There's an outside shot, but I think we sneak in. You know what our reward's going to be? Either we're going to Ohio State, Athens, or Oregon.
That's the problem. That's the problem with it. Because
you'll be out in the first round again, and we won't have another. There'll be another year without a major win.
Yep. See, that's the problem. That's why I said you could go 11-1, no problem. But it couldn't be that one because now even if you go 11-1, you're not getting that home seat, and it makes it a really tough uphill sledding. So that Northern thing took a lot of the wind out of the sails, and it's totally justified. That is not just another loss on the board. That one is going to weigh you down and follow you around like a shadow. And it should. You can't do it, and you can't have it. And we did it, and we had it. There's nothing to say. You can't do that, and they did it.
It triples down when they go out and lose to Buffalo and not the Bills.
Yep. Yep. It's a bad deal, man.
I mean, come on here.
Them losing after playing Notre Dame is the most predictable outcome anybody could ever think of. You play your World Series, you play the Super Bowl when you go to Notre Dame. You play great, better than you ever have. And it's the most Notre Damiest thing ever. So it's very frustrating, Tim. You got to win this one, though. You got to win this one, damn it. You better win this one, damn it. Like, you better figure it out.
Dude,
Maybe
I live in the damn state.
Tim.
I'd say 110 miles from them. We cannot. No, I agree. No,
maybe
we cannot. We cannot.
Maybe because they know this game is a little bit of a higher profile. Freeman tends to get the guys more ready for those games. So maybe he'll be good to go.
You're 100% right. But what scares me is then we'll drop something that we shouldn't, like a Georgia Tech or a Virginia. That's the problem. Like you said, you can't have any faith in this team. And it's depressing. Like you said, this season could be over before we even get to Halloween. I mean, the month of Halloween.
Even October, the beginning of October, not even the end. Yeah, it's really frustrating. There's a lot hinging on this week. And a lot of people I feel are sitting on the fence here. And this is a big, big moment. And I'm holding out hope that they come ready to play just because it's a bigger game and they tend to prepare for those more effectively. But the up and down swings here, there's just not the consistency you need to be a top level, top 10 team that you could trust week in and week. Notre Dame does not have that consistency. That up and down, these huge swings are dangerous and it's very uncomfortable.
And can we learn how to win football games versus trying to compete in the Bachelorette? Stop recruiting these pretty boy quarterbacks.
Yeah, hey, at least Sammy Boy Hartman
You know what
there.
Hartman's doing now, don't you?
He's doing what he's meant to do with that hair, baby.
He's modeling. God love him.
I'm proud for him.
I mean, even Friedman, his buyout's only $4 million. I think they give him one more year, even if the year explodes this year. But his buyout's only $4 million.
Yeah.
So problem is I don't want Fickle, and that's what's even more depressing when I just sit at night going, we're never going to win again, is who the hell do you hire? Because if you're going to fire him, you better damn well, our AD better have a short list of who he wants to go get. I have a feeling the top one on that list is going to be Fickle, and that's going to be Kelly 2.0. I'm getting too old for this.
It's
because he won't take us to the promised land.
Hey, I'm going to hold out hope here. There's just some shaky stuff that I was hoping would be more stabilized than it appears to be right now. And I don't know, man, but this is going to be a big week. So I wanted to do some Miami, Ohio reaction because I missed, the call-in show. And then as we get further into the week, we're going to worry more and more about Louisville and break that down. Anything else, Tim? Thanks for touching.
Like I said, I'm glad you had a safe trip and a good time.
Oh, thanks a lot, man. Yeah, thanks a lot. I had a lot of really nice people at that tailgate, man. Just meeting everybody's so great. All right, you guys, I have an 11 o'clock meeting I got to get to on Zoom for some business stuff. Sorry, we do have a full bank of callers. It's too busy of a day and I'm behind because I'm 2 days behind in all my content because I was out of the mix. Articles to write. I have other shows I need to edit and put together, and there's a lot going on. I'm really sorry I was not able to get to all those calls. It's just I got a hard out at 11 o'clock here to hop in this Zoom. Everybody, thanks for the kind words, for the people that were at the tailgate and everything and had a good time. I really appreciate all of that, all the donations, all the chats. And again, you guys, it warms my heart. The best part about everything in this community is building this group where everybody feels comfortable to come together, and everybody loves Notre Dame in this. Whatever, it's a beautiful thing, and every time we do one of these events and everybody comes together, I realize how special it is. So, thank you, everybody that was involved here. I'm really sorry I didn't get to the calls, but we'll be back on Wednesday. We're getting on our regular track here, and then we will have. We'll obviously have a good post-game show ready for you after Louisville. Everybody take care. Have a good one. Check out the press conference in a half hour. Let's see what we get this week, huh? Have a good one.